YouTube, my, oh my, oh my. What a matchup between OGLA and the Chicago Huntsmen. For me, had to be one of the best matchups that I've ever seen in Call of Duty, not even talking about in Modern Warfare. I could not believe the outcome. It was incredible. I want to go through that round 11, break everything down for you. I feel like that's a round you could break down for 20 minutes. There are so many things that happened. We're going to break it down, but first, I want to give you guys the instant reaction around the Call of Duty scene. So, starting with the king himself, Scump says, GG's OpTic 132. This is what I love about Scump. Even though he was super hyped, he was super pumped afterwards. I love the fact that he's not out trash talking. He just goes about his business. So unbelievable from him. Just to go around and talk about a little bit more of the reaction from the players. This was Envoy. GG's to OpTic though. What a series. I love my teammates. We live for moments like those, and that's what it's really all about, right? When you're competing at this level, that's what it comes down to. That's what you prepare for. That's why you've played 10,000 rounds of Search and Destroy in Modern Warfare, so that when it comes down to a round 11, champs on the line in a scenario like that, you can clutch up. There's a reaction from Envoy. When it comes to Formal, quite a few things here. The thing that I liked the most, so this was at the end of last year. He said, if you want to stop Thanos, you need me. Simple as that. Basically just saying that Scump needs him along with that organization. So he replied to that, said, told ya, as in they made it happen. On a serious note, though, that series was insane. We clutched up and showed resilience after being down 1-2. GG's to OpTic. We win 3-2 and move on to championship weekend. Other thing that I want to point out here is I love the fact that Pristini's getting a lot of love, because yesterday was really tough for him, or 2 days ago now was really tough for him. The fact he came out in that Atlanta series and put up a .58, if not for that .58, they probably end up beating Atlanta and they're already through to championship weekend. But Formal touches on it here, says, so proud of how Pristini bounced back today. Y'all were ruthless. Guy is insane, and hope he proved that to you guys and will continue to do so next weekend. So just a lot of love and positivity going his way. As we move on to Arcity's first thing, he says, GG's OGLA 132. Shout out to the real supporters and fans, and shout out to the team, man, especially Pristini. Get off his nuts, just because, again, he got so much flack yesterday. He goes on to say a couple things. One, didn't have the best weekend. I got to be better. Two, playing one match every day over the weekend is not fun. I hope we can change it in the future. I'd agree, right? There's no chance for a build-up. There's no chance to get hot. It's just, well, let's hop into this match that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and hope we have it today. So I would also agree with him. I'd like to see it changed. Scrims for the next week will be so hard, man. Again, not a fan of the setup, just because I agree with him. Who's going to want to scrim? You think Seattle's going to want to get in and go hard after what they've been through this year? It'll be tough to find teammates. They'll probably have to pay someone, but I think it'll end up working out. And number 4, time to hunt Huntsmen. So it's go time, right? It's championship weekend. Last but not least, from Pristini, proving people wrong is my favorite thing to do, with a smiley face. I feel so happy for him just because he's been through so much. So I love this reaction out of him. And for the record, I'm still tight about my performance yesterday. Even today could have been better. I'll work on it. But for now, I want to say thank you to everybody that supported, even when I had my worst day of COD ever. Love you guys. Just real quick to go through the actual stat line here. Again, this is from Cam Allen. If you don't follow him, make sure you go follow him on Twitter. This is where I get a lot of my stats. But even today, Pristini had a .98. So it's not tremendous, but a .98 is really good for an entry man like him. And it's a vast difference from a .58 like he had a couple days ago. Envoy played well. Formal played well. They were both around 1.01. Even with that, though, they weren't tremendous. And I do think they'll have to be better going into next weekend if they want to take down a team like Dallas or Atlanta. If we look down at OpTic Gaming LA, really good day out of Slasher, TJ, Kenny, Hollow. Everybody played really well. Draza was -12 over the course of the matchup, but still pretty good across the board. Just came down to clutching up and Search and Destroy, and that's what Chicago was able to do. With that said, though, you guys know my channel. I can't go through and make one of these videos without being super analytical. So here we are. I want to make sure we're breaking down all of this. There are so many storylines that happen just in this round 11 alone. First thing to touch on here is the fact that after going A so many times, OpTic took the bomb and decided to do a fast B. And this is the first thing that I want to talk about. I feel like this is super important to Chicago's success, and everybody might not have realized it right away. So Pristini comes around this corner. He looks mid-map, and immediately he sees 4 people from OpTic mid-map. If this is the case, the only thing that can come from this is that it has to be a fast B push, right? You're not going to send 4 people mid-map if you're going A. You're not going to send 4 people mid-map if you're going slow over towards B. It has to be a quick hit on B. And even though he doesn't even put up a fight, he tries to just get down. He ends up getting team shot here, and that allows OGLA to take over mid-map. They go ahead and they throw this smoke up high so that Chicago can't see out those windows had anybody been up there, and the route is on. So they do chill just a little bit at the beginning here before they get in, and I will say I cannot believe that Scump ended up staying alive. There was so much that went into this, including timing. So first thing to talk about here is the fact that right here, this is the first timing. So if Scump was head glitching this counter, he probably gets the kill on TJ and the bomb isn't down. That's the first thing I want to point out. So TJ slides across, Scump doesn't see it. As soon as TJ gets across, Scump stands up. You can see that TJ's out of view now, and Draza comes in, right? TJ's out of the way. Draza's going to come through. Now that Scump has stood up, he gets this kill. It's a 4v4, and he knows that bomb is down. Draza's their bomb carrier. So after that, everybody pushes through. I can't believe that Scump stays alive. This is the next challenge here. This is a tough one to win. Hollow has an SMG. Formal has an AR, of course. In a tight matchup like that, it's really hard to win that one. So Formal ends up getting gunned there to give it back to a 3v4. As we go ahead and fast forward just a little bit, this is another clutch kill right here from Envoy. So if Envoy doesn't get this kill, that means that this side of the map is now open for OGLA. So Envoy is able to finish this kill on Slasher, which not only gives it back to a 3v3 scenario, but it keeps this side of the map closed to OGLA, right? They can't go out those windows and rotate. They can't get a little bit of relief from that side of the B bomb site. They're still stuck inside that tiny bomb site. So Envoy's able to get this kill, and right here, Scump's trying to get the kill on TJ. Kenny comes around. Kenny tries to kill him. Scump lays down. He's out of ammo. Rather than trying to finish that kill, Kenny also has to reload. Kenny gets out, and as that happens, Arcides comes through the back door, gets the kill on Kenny. Hollow lines up for him, and now it's a 2v1. It's Arcides and Envoy versus TJ. That's all that's left. As we go ahead and hit play again here, great play out of TJ. TJ trades out the kill from Arcides, so now it's a 1v1 against Envoy, and this is a fantastic call out of TJ. He almost ended up clutching up and winning this for OGLA, but if you're TJ, you know there's only 2 places that Envoy can be. Last time we saw Envoy, he was outside this window. So he either has to be outside that window still, or he rotated through mid, because Chicago has already sent multiple people through the back door. Formal came from that way. Arcides came from that way. So Chicago's probably not going to send a third person through that back door, right? It just doesn't make too much sense. If you're Envoy, you want to pinch from the front in case Arcides does stay alive. So TJ recognizes that he's either out that window or he's out front. He turns around, he looks out front, and if not for this head glitch right here on top of these barrels, Envoy probably loses this gun battle because he gets hit twice before he's able to return gunfire on TJ right there. You just saw it flash red. You saw it flash red again. Envoy's behind this heady right here. He's able to finish the kill on TJ, and that is the end of this one. Look at the reactions here. Everybody freaks out. Envoy's going crazy. Scump's going crazy. Pristini's going crazy. Arcides is going off. You don't see a lot of emotion out of Arcides and Envoy. Man, I love this reaction. Scump's screaming. He's probably telling Envoy that he's the absolute best. He's the man. I wish we could see what was going on with Formal, but this is just such a good sign. It's so great to see if you're a fan of Chicago, and I think the league does a little bit better. Obviously, viewership is better, but going into next weekend, I think having Chicago in that grand final, viewership record was set today at 147K at the end of this one. I can only imagine what it would be like next weekend if Chicago ends up making it to a final. But with that in mind, I do want to go ahead and just give a couple reactions. We're also going to go through the other two matches that were played today. So Hector Rodriguez, again, class act as always. So he said, good game, Slasher, Kenny, Draza, TJ, you gentlemen are incredible players, GG. I love this about Hex. He doesn't go out and talk trash. He doesn't throw it in people's faces. He just goes about his business. And also, he linked Hollow here. Nice reply here out of Slasher. He says, GG's, good luck in the rest. Kenny also replies. Other thing to mention here is also there's a reply from Andy Miller, the co-CEO of NRG. He said, first of all, Seth is my daddy. Love you, King Scum. Way to hang as a team, boys. GG OpTic Gaming. Huntsmen move on to Champs Weekend. My heart. Just like everybody else, he was probably feeling it. After that, he said, what did you get me into, Hex? My heart. Love it. NRG Green Wall at Huntsmen. So just obviously you can tell this ownership duo out of NRG is absolutely behind this team, and it's great to see. There was also a little bit of a post-series interview here from Envoy, but we won't go ahead and go through it. Some more reactions. Good to see us back. This is from Simp, and to think about it, it's crazy that on championship weekend, every single member of last year's Champ Squad, E United, is back for this Champs. So Abizi is back, Simp is back with Atlanta, Arcides and Pristini is in with Chicago, Clayster's in with Dallas. So every single member of last year's Champs team is also in this weekend. Really cool little piece of information to see there. Obviously, the reply here from Slasher says that tournament literally showed it. We were different players outside of California. It'll forever be a question of how good we could have been given a fair chance. And yeah, he's talked about it time and time again, how they haven't had great connection out in California. In this one, they all end up going to Complexity's headquarters in Texas, and they make an incredible run. So obviously it makes a big difference. You can see the replies here from Saint, the head coach of Minnesota. I'll always wonder what could have happened this year if it stayed on land the whole time. That's the same thing with Minnesota, right? They were playing great on land. When it went to online, they obviously didn't have a great season. Slasher, in a reply to that, said, I would bet my bank account if this season played out on land, I would have been a top 8 seed. Literally different game. I've been one of the favorites going in the past 6 champs. And absolutely, right? Had they been on land, probably would have made a big difference there. More reaction out of Hastro. Even I was rooting for Chicago there. 6 series, and good to see the original green guys win. Obviously, that's in response to the fake OpTic, no longer Hector's OpTic. So it's good to see Hastro behind them. Also, a little bit of a reply here from Sensor, and I totally agree with him. The fact that people still sleep on you is crazy, and he's referring to Scum, calls him the GOAT here. And yeah, I can't believe it. What are you doing if you're still doubting the player that Scump is? Sure, he doesn't have the 1.3s, 1.4s throughout the entirety of the year, but he clutches up when the pressure is on the most, and you can't take that away from him. And of course, you got a reply here from Nadeshot. We looked at the reply from Scump earlier with the GG's OpTic 132. Nadeshot says, my brother. And Scum says, let's get it, baby. We're still in. Solid point here out of GodRx. GodRx says, I could only imagine the crowd reaction after that. We need land back. And he's completely right. Could you imagine what would have happened in that round 11? Crowd would have went crazy. Imagine an Anaheim type crowd or something like that. Would have been absolutely bizarre. Just to make sure we're covering all of our bases here, how we got to that position. London had a really good match. These are also from Cam Allen on Twitter, but London won 3-1, came out. They ended up dropping the hard point 250 to 230. After that, it was smooth sailing. Won the Gunrunner S&D 6-4, won the Dom 155, 146, won the Petro by 71. And if we look down below, Shawnee absolutely went off, had a 1.45 in hardpoint, a 1.4 in S&D. This was by far the biggest storyline of this matchup. Methods also played tremendous with a 1.32, but everybody else from Toronto fell a little bit short. So tremendous out of Shawnee and Methods. The difference was that those from London, especially Zero, stepped up a little bit more, got the 3-1 victory there. If we look at the matchup between OGLA and Florida, which is how OGLA got into that matchup with Chicago in the first place, this was a quick 3-0. Really only the Dom was close, but Azir Cave hardpoint, they won by 30. Gunrunner S&D, OpTic won 6-1. Hackney Yardam was super close, but they clutched up, won it by 4. And biggest thing here, Kenny had a 1.4, Hollow a 1.12, TJ a 1.08, Slasher a 1.07, and that was the biggest difference maker, which is why heading into that last matchup, Kenny was absolutely frying, and he was a major storyline. Last but not least, want to make sure I cover this big news. I am so happy for Shotzzy. Call of Duty League tweeted, "We're proud to announce that Anthony Shotzzy Castro of the Dallas Empire as the 2020 Call of Duty League MVP presented by Astro Gaming." And you could take up maybe a little bit of an issue with this. Maybe Simp, maybe Celium, maybe those guys could have also been in the running, but I just feel good for Shotzzy. After what he did in that first weekend, he went like triple negative in his very first match at that very first LAN in Minnesota. So for him to bounce back the way that he did, it's just a really good storyline, and I feel happy for him. He went out and tweeted from the beginning of the year, with all the hate and just putting my head down and putting so many hours into improving day to day, and have it pay off like this is a special feeling. Thank you for the support this year. You guys have all been amazing. CDL MVP. So yeah, I feel good for him. It's a good storyline. With that, guys, thank you so much. Down below, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm going to have all the news and the previews covered leading into next weekend. So if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you leave a like. Any comments, put them down below. Thank you guys so much. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.